Looking for music that lifts your spirit and fills your heart? Experience the powerful sound of the Tabernacle Choir at Temple Square. Now streaming on all your favorite music platforms. Find the Tabernacle Choir on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, Amazon Music, and Pandora. Let the music of the Tabernacle Choir at Temple Square inspire you today and every day. Whether you're at home, in the car, or on the go, enjoy the beauty of their world-renowned sound anytime. The Tabernacle Choir at Temple Square, streaming now.
Question of the morning. Bill Simmons thinks the Jazz are going to draft Cameron Boozer, citing Danny Ainge's preference for wing players. Are you buying Bill's take? Bum, bum, bum. Shay says, Bill made several good points. But you can bet the farm Danny and Austin look under every rock and will know everything there is to know about Peterson before the draft. If they pass on him, it's because there's an unresolved problem with him.
Not necessarily, though.
They could just think Boozer's going to be better.
Yeah, or whomever.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say that's a guarantee that they think that this cramping or what have you, whatever it might be, that they're not going to get the full return on this extremely high pick. So they could just determine that this is somebody that they feel like is a better player. And I think fit, I don't think you can dismiss fit 100%. And maybe they think our team, Boozer is, say they're close or even, whatever it might be. And you may think, well, we don't want to stifle the wonderful backcourt's development of George and Bailey. And Boozer is going to be just as good, so go in that direction. I mean, if there's a discrepancy, then you go with the better player. If it's a wide discrepancy, then certainly you go with the better player. But if you think they're even, why not go with fit? If you don't think that there's any difference in the production value that you're going to get in return, I think that's plausible. I would always advise, though, to go with the better player if they all believe and the brain trust believes it. We'll just use Peterson as the example, that he's the better player, then absolutely you take him.
Michael says, I don't think Boozer is a wing player.
He's got wing skills. But see, that's the thing about it. You have to be a perimeter player in today's game. The traditional power forward back to the basket.
Not happening.
No. I mean, you use that.
I'm going to go to the low post and you go to the high post and we'll just camp out.
Yeah.
Not happening.
Right. So he may not be the prototype wing guy, but in today's game, you have to have face-up and extended shooting skills. And I think he does.
Brad says, Bill's projecting again. Boozer isn't a wing. He's a power forward who can shoot from three. Okay.
Which is the same thing.
We're now arguing snakes versus legless lizards. Please give me the fine distinction and go. I have an uncle who loves that line. It's
right.
totally
I mean, you're right on there.
But I think then the thing is, and we all do this, all we're talking about is his offense. If you're going to switch everything defensively, how many players can he defend? And you go around who he'd be switching on to in the Western Conference, and like, okay, how good is he in this situation? Now, you can argue everybody struggles to a degree. They got to figure that out. But how many players can he defend?
See, I look at team defense, though. He could be the greatest
Certainly
defender in the
factor.
world, but big deal. You have to, Majerus taught me that over and over. Defense is a 5-player assignment. And you can't have weaknesses. I understand that. But what's the difference if he's the greatest defender ever and you got 2 or 3 guys out there that can't defend? Who cares?
Right. And the point is that it's not like Jordan had bad games, but he also couldn't just automatically go off because Jeff Hornacek was out there. And Jeff would be the first one to tell you, well, he's taller than me and he's a better athlete than me. But you use the defensive principles, it's good team defense, and Jordan's 15 for 45 in a game. Now, Russell's taking him some, Hornacek's taking him some. People are switching. Nobody's got him all the time. But if someone is just truly a bad defender, then the best players are going for 40 and they're hitting 50% of their shots. I mean, they're just going to light those guys up. So you don't have to be this perfect athlete, perfect defender to get pretty good results if, like you say, you're in a system, you understand the principles, and you're a good team defender.
And you have a big presence at the rim.
Always helps. And that's why they put up with Ostertag's stuff, because he gave him the presence at the rim. He'd check out mentally for a week or two at a time, but he was always 7'2", standing back there. And then we got Brady who says, well, Danny ain't in charge no more. Who cares what Bill thinks?
Well, if you're going to go somebody in charge, then that's Ryan Smith.
Ultimately.
Yeah. But
if Danny and Austin heatedly disagree, what happens? And maybe your point, the guy in charge, Ryan Smith, is like, well, you two got to work this out. I got to have a little bit of consensus here. Let's go.
There's no problem with that, though. I think certainly they'll reach a consensus because they'll draft someone. And even if they don't reach a consensus, they'll still draft someone.
That's where it comes down to veto. And I think a lot of times the Jazz pick, it's been pretty clear they did reach a consensus, but there are a few times where we heard, they really didn't. It's just like, okay, you're in charge, you make the pick.
Well, that's okay.
The Azubuike pick comes to mind. Bo says, I feel like it's going to be AJ Dybantsa or Peterson, but I know far less than Danny, Austin, and Justin. I think Bill's.
So do I.
I think Bill's general point is right. Love the wings. Look at the history. Look at who he's picked and valued, and look who's won for him. And I think you can go back to his playing career. He just realizes these 6'8", 6'9" guys who can handle a ball and move are a real problem. Ainge wasn't that guy. He's just not that tall, and the game's harder for the guys who are 6'2", 6'4". And he's
tall enough.
He is, but the game is harder. Does he generally value the 6'8" to 6'10" guy over the 6'2" to 6'5" guy?
Only if they're better, but that's a big duh.
Right, but he played, and he was a smaller guy, and he played with Bird as a 6'9" guy.
I think he's 6'5", 6'6". He's plenty for
thought he was like 6'4", but stand next to him.
6'6" with the afro.
No.
If you're good,
but
you're
the individual.
good.
But that goes back to your point. Yes, the individual. It comes down to this player, his skill set.
I think Simmons has at least a casual, if not a good relationship with the man because of the Boston connection for many, many years.
Yep.
So he comes out and says this, and I listened to the whole thing, and he's not trying to. He's beyond. Oh, I got to have a click.
Right.
I got to have a take, so I get a click. It was a discussion of a level-headed discussion. I don't even know who he was discussing with. But I listened to the whole thing. It was like about 8, 9, 10 minutes. I listened at the gym and passed the time on the treadmill. And I took it, okay, this is worth discussing because I think the guy has an idea of what he's talking about based on the proximity of those two living there. I'd have to think that there's some form of relationship. Obviously, he's a Celtics guy. He's made no bones about that, and that's fine. And away they went. And it was very, not calculated, but it was matter of fact as they were discussing it. He is saying, this is what I think. Not saying, oh, man, this is what he's going to do, blah, 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 blah. This is how I feel relative to what I know about the man and what he's done and the level of success that he's had and the moves that he's made, yada, yada. So all that stuff made sense to me, and I thought, okay. And plus, it's Jazz, and you can't go wrong discussing Jazz in the draft at this time of year on our show.
All of that is true. And 47 comments, almost 50, that's a big number. And you put some other topics up, and they're all in single digits. This is the topic. And you're right. It goes back to we're getting closer here. We're 3 games down on the verge of Game 4 in the NBA Finals. We know the draft's right around the corner.
Yeah, we're under 2 weeks
out
now.
Yeah.
It's 13 days.
Bum, bum, bum.
The 23rd. It will be Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. 4 days after the Rod Stewart concert.
Which is Friday, June 19th.
You can't go wrong discussing it, and I think that what he's saying is something that needs to be taken into consideration. Even if he didn't say it, it still needs to be taken into consideration. It's a possibility.
It is.
And it's not necessarily a remote possibility.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
But it's going to come down to Basically, he was laying the framework for how Ainge thinks, but it's still going to come down to who is the best player. And then you get the medical stuff and you get these one-on-one conversations and you get a feel for who's going to get better and who can truly be a dominant player.
Yeah, there was projection involved. I don't know that any of them can truly be a dominant player. I'm not sold on any of them.
Somebody needs to be, or this draft has been oversold.
No, but you could have 5 really good players. And they're truly dominant players.
Yes.
I got 5 fingers. Give me more. Not fingers, dominant players. I'm fine with all 5 digits. They all do a job. And it's just like defense. They all work together.
You really were born to do this.
So you're missing one, and you have a hole.
You're born a generation earlier. There's no sports talk radio. It literally started at the exact right time for you.
Oh, when I first heard it, I thought, that's it. Literally. No joke. When I first heard it, I thought, that is it.
Right. But if you're driving across town 20 years earlier doing the same job, there's no there to hear.
But you could argue that I could have gone into that sooner and didn't have to go 23 years with daily newspapers. Not that I have any problem doing that. I'm not saying. But
I get your point. Give a career path.
When I first heard of sports radio, it was on from 10 to midnight.
Right. If you come along in the 60s, there's nothing. You come along in the 80s, you do the newspaper thing and then into radio. Yeah. But if you came along in the 2000s, you might have gone straight into radio.
That's what I'm saying.
Because it's just up and running at that point.
But I'm not complaining. I mean, the path that I took, it worked for me.
It did.
And I needed that path.
And you got to see and do a lot of cool things along the way.
No question.
I mean, you're still friends with all the guys from the newsroom that's been torn down in L.A.
Right.
And my gosh, the stuff you had front row seats to in the 90s, we're writing here.
Yeah. And there. A little bit, not as much, but yeah, absolutely.
Well, yeah, you get to sit next to Jordan in the locker room and make sure Jesse Jackson didn't throw an elbow and move you out of the way. Hey, you did your homework early. Like Matt Harpering said, you got to the spot and you posted up.
Jesse Jackson and Jim Belushi tried to elbow.
Oh, I thought it was Schwarzenegger, but that was at the golf tournament at Riviera, right? I'm confusing your celebrity sightings in L.A.
I was in Sylvester Stallone's way at the golf tournament.
Oh, a slide, not Schwarzenegger. Can't keep all your. You have been around so many celebrities.
He tried to push me out of the way. Well, I'm working in California.
I know.
It's obvious.
But even I was in Santa Barbara. There were celebrities.
Not as many.
The college roommate I was just telling you about, his little brother came and lived with us one summer and took a job working at this resort. Hey, how was work today? Pretty good. Almost got killed at 10:59 this morning. I'm like, that's oddly specific. He says, yeah, Mick Jagger was in a golf cart coming around the corner trying to make it before they picked up brunch. He was still in his PJs.
But I did.
I didn't get a Mick Jagger sighting.
I staked out.
Greg did.
Jordan where he'd come, but also the most unusual thing was after Game 3 of his first finals against the Lakers. My job was the Bulls locker room, and I walk in the Bulls locker room, and there's nobody there, and except one person sitting on the cement slab in front of the locker in the old Forum, which is still there, and it's MJ, and he didn't go to the podium, and.
Maybe for the last time in his career.
Yeah, he didn't go to the podium. And I think if I remember, it was an overtime game, and they wanted to go up 2-1, and then they won 4 in a row. They lost the first game, and I'm the only guy there, and he's just sitting there, and I go up and I say, "Are you available for post-game interviews?" "Yeah, sit down." and so I literally sit right next to him. And I probably had close to 15 minutes before the crowd realized he wasn't coming to the podium. I have no clue why he didn't go to the podium, but they must have had Pippen and I think that Horace Grant and those other guys at the time. Yeah. And then they closed the interview. The podium stuff is over, and then I could literally hear the feet of people coming around the hallway to come into the Forum visitor locker room.
That is so overplayed when I see that in the movies, when I see the stampede of media. It is so overplayed. It almost never happens, but it does happen sometimes, and that's totally a place where it would.
Yes, and then just the amount of coverage that was there. This is 91 to 97.
It changed completely.
Oh my gosh. It was such a big deal that the Forum just had the regular media area, which was a decent-sized room for the media to do their stuff. And at halftime, Nicholson would come in and shoot the breeze. Now, he didn't know me. I was not the Lakers beat writer, but I was assigned to cover the Bulls in the playoffs. And our beat writer actually was a famous dude, the Daily Breeze guy, where when Magic had his speech where he had to retire, he referenced Mitch. And AP put in parentheses Kupchak. It wasn't. It was Mitch Chortkoff, our guy, who had been a long time, he's deceased now, but he had been a long time beat writer, and he was referencing the good times he had with Mitch, and they put in Kupchak, but it wasn't. But that was such a big difference. And what series was the flu game? Was it the first series or second
97.
series? And so I'm coming in the back, and you talk about herd of media, and I come in and I make the right-hand turn to go the hallway, and just as I did, I see hordes of people and cameras and everything, and they're following Jordan in, and the word had gotten out that he was sick. That was amazing. Just the amount of people standing as Jordan was, wherever he was coming from, coming to the Bulls locker room. Must have been 200, if not 500 media jammed in the hallway trying to get a piece of him walking, to where just thinking 6 years earlier after a game in which they win and there's nobody there but me. That was crazy, the amount of attention that the finals had increased in just 6 years. So, for what it's worth.
Bill Simmons thinks the Jazz are going to draft Cameron Boozer, citing Danny Ainge's preference for wing players. Are you buying Bill's take? Boozer, he played in the low post at Duke. He's undersized and underathletic. I highly doubt he's an NBA wing. So I wouldn't think of him as a 2 or a 3. I would think of him as a power forward. But the 2s, 3s, and 4s, the way they run offenses, they're pretty interchangeable. And he had the ball on the perimeter for Duke a lot. Yeah. I'm sure there's analytics out there saying what percentage of the offense he initiated, but we see their games. He did it a lot, and he beat guys off the dribble from the perimeter all the time.
Listening to what Simmons was saying, this is my take on what he's saying, I don't think the emphasis was, we got to have him because he's a wing. Bill was not, that's the number one reason. I just put that in there because he was citing, and obviously it's Brown and Tatum. Are the guys that he liked and so forth. And so those are the two prime examples.
Paul Pierce maybe going back.
What he was saying was they took Tatum. The point he was making is they took Tatum even though they had Brown and Hayward. That's the point, the specific point he was making.
He loves wings so much, he'll stack them 3 deep. So don't think he won't take Boozer because he has Jackson and Markkanen.
That's the literal point he was making.
Which also, and this goes to your point about fit, they should draft the best player. But when it's really close, he fits, even though he's a third guy in that position, because he's going to be a decade younger than those guys. Ish, not exactly. But
you're talking about this literal
7 to
one
10
now.
years.
Yeah.
And so it's like, well, as these guys get older, get more expensive, move on, break down physically, whatever, Boozer's moving along. The separation in age, I think, makes it far more palatable. And to your point, even if they were the same age, it still might be a good idea.
He will be drafted at 18 years of age. He does not, I've got it in front of me, he does not turn 19 till July 18th. That is seriously young.
It is. And he's really good. I mean, he went to the top of the key, or maybe I can see these in my mind. I see these plays where he's just like the camera is at midcourt on the ground, handheld, and he's slightly to the left of the top of the key, and you can see him, you can see a defender, you can see the hoop. And he beats a defender, and he changes, and he finishes with either hand, or he shoots a floater, or he dunks. I mean, he's really good going to the hoop. And he is not going to be the best athlete on the floor. I totally get that. You don't have to argue that.
Well,
but he still has a way. Exactly. He has a way of being effective.
Brunson is not the most
getting the shot
gifted.
Off.
He's short, and he's not super athletic.
And I can just see him charging the rim so many times thinking there's not much space there, but he finds it, and he scores.
And they also, Bill also acknowledged the Dybantsa Boozer connection to the Jazz. or connections, and saying that is an issue. Now, it's not as big of an issue as some folks make, but it is somewhat of an issue. But he's saying he doesn't think it would be an issue with him, with his father, and the history, of course.
Well, it gives you deeper knowledge and maybe more trust that you're going to get the best version of who you're drafting, because none of these guys are the finished version of who they're going to be. But
he didn't turn 19 until next month. Suck, man, that's amazing. He'll be drafted as an 18-year-old.
And Markkanen's 29 and Jackson's 26. So look at the separation you're getting in age there.
Yeah, and Larry Bird was 5 years removed from high school. And Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and those guys play 4 years of college.
I did hear that people comparing Wembanyama and his first appearance in the finals to Bird and his first appearance. I guess the point was in Bird's first appearance, he had like an 8-point game. Or maybe he had a couple of them.
I don't know.
And so I didn't either. And so, and I'm thinking, well, yeah, but Bird was like 24 at that point. I mean, Wembanyama's way younger.
Mm-hmm.
Summer is all about freedom, fun, and growing up. And between the ages of 9 and 13, kids are starting to form their views about alcohol. With more independence, their still developing brains need more guidance and support than ever. That's why summer is the perfect time to stay connected and plan fun, safe family activities together. Research shows kids who spend quality time with their parents doing what they enjoy are less likely to drink underage. And when kids feel close to you, they're more likely to listen, especially when you set clear expectations. In fact, kids who drink before 15 are far more likely to struggle with alcohol later. This summer, create a no-bummer summer with fun, alcohol-free activities for your kids. Go to summer.parentsempowered.org to take a quick quiz and discover ideas tailored to your family. A little time together can make a big difference. For more information and to learn more about how to prevent underage drinking, visit parentsempowered.org.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top.